Today, we're looking at why work never feels finished anymore. Not because people are lazy or bad at time management, but because modern jobs quietly turn extra effort into proof that you deserve to stay. When everyone is expected to reply faster, stay later, and do more with less, work becomes a treadmill. Let's get into it. Imagine running on a treadmill. You are moving, you are sweating, you are working hard. But no matter how long you run, you never actually arrive anywhere. That is what work can feel like now. You finish one task, and another appears. You answer one message, and three more come in. You clear your list, and suddenly there's a new deadline, a new meeting, a new request, or a new quick thing someone needs before tomorrow. And the strange part is, you can be working hard and still feel behind. That is not always because you are doing something wrong. Sometimes it is because the job itself has been built with no real finish line. The old idea of work was simpler. You had hours, you had tasks, you did the work, then you went home. But now, for a lot of people, work does not fully end when the workday ends. Your laptop follows you home, your phone keeps buzzing, your email is still open, your manager can message you at night and call it a quick question. And because everyone wants to look reliable, people start replying. Then, replying late becomes normal. Then, staying available becomes expected. Then, suddenly, doing your actual job is not enough anymore. You also have to prove you care by being constantly reachable. That is how overtime stops feeling optional and starts feeling like survival. Because companies do not always need to officially tell people to work overtime. They just need to create a culture where not doing extra feels risky. Nobody has to say you must answer messages at 10 p.m. But if everyone else answers, you feel pressure to answer too. Nobody has to say you must take on more work than you can handle. But if the team is understaffed, the work still has to go somewhere. So employees absorb the pressure. They work faster. They stay later. They skip breaks. They say yes when they want to say no. And slowly, the company gets more labor without always having to call it extra labor. That is the part that makes modern work so exhausting. It is not just the number of tasks, it is the feeling that the finish line keeps moving. You do the work, but the reward is not rest. The reward is more work. If you finish quickly, you get more assigned. If you are reliable, people depend on you more. If you never complain, people assume you can handle it. So being good at your job can become a trap. The better you are, the more work gets pushed toward you. And because the system rewards availability, people start treating exhaustion like commitment. Staying late looks responsible, answering quickly looks professional. Being overwhelmed looks normal. And leaving on time can feel like you are doing something wrong, even when you have already done your job. That is how work quietly expands. It takes the empty spaces first. A message after dinner, a quick check before bed, a Sunday night email, a task you will just finish quickly. Then eventually, work is not just something you do during work hours. It becomes something sitting in the back of your mind all the time. The reason this works is fear. People are not just working late because they love meetings, deadlines, and urgent emails. They are working late because jobs feel less secure, bills are higher, and being seen as replaceable is scary. So people overperform. They try to be useful, they try to be available, they try to be the person the company cannot afford to lose. But that creates a problem. Because if everyone starts doing extra to prove they deserve their job, then extra becomes the new normal. What used to be above and beyond becomes the basic expectation. And once that happens, doing your job well can still feel like you are not doing enough. That is why burnout is not just a personal problem. It is not only about sleeping more, drinking water, or learning how to relax. Those things matter, but they do not fix a system that keeps asking for more. Because if the workload is too high, the deadlines are too tight, the team is too small, and the messages never stop, then burnout is not a mystery. It is the predictable result. A person can only run on a treadmill for so long before their body starts asking why they are still running. And that is what makes modern work feel so strange. You can be productive and still anxious. You can be employed and still feel unsafe. You can be doing your best and still feel like you are falling behind, because the problem is not always your effort. Sometimes the problem is that the system is designed to absorb as much effort as you are willing to give. So when people say work never feels finished anymore, they are not just complaining. They are noticing something real. The boundary between work and life has become weaker. The expectation to be available has become stronger. And the amount of work one person is supposed to carry keeps growing. A real job should have limits. It should have a start, an end, and a point where enough is enough. But when work becomes a treadmill, the goal is no longer to finish. The goal is just to keep running. And that is why so many people feel exhausted before the day even begins. Because they are not just tired from working, they are tired from never being allowed to feel done.